Hey folks, isn't it peachy to be in the throes of Republican assholery around the disaster response to the catastrophic death and destruction from Hurricane Helene? You know, how Orangina Pervalicious Felonious Schlumper McPhee is offering his parasitic peons an excuse to all caps their way around social media to avoid facing their self-loathing and all-around sucking at life. Well, if you aren't lucky enough to be privy to the latest soulless shenanigans, the collective mendacious MAGA is pretending Joe Biden is vacationing on the moon without his cell phone, so he can't be reached to help the suffering folks who lost everything. Yeah, the cult has set the bar for plausible believability in the shitter, so they're trying to make it seem like the dude who's hawking cheap watches, crappy Bibles, and crypto really cares about the poor, suffering hurricane victims, and he's totally not going to pocket the GoFundMe donations to pay for his legal bills. Well, guess what, folks? We just confirmed what we knew all along. When Orangina was president, he wasn't going to help the folks in California who were devastated by the deadliest fire in the state's history in 2018. Yeah. Apparently, Orangina initially told the administrator of the Federal Emergency Management Agency not to send any money to California because the meanie-pants state didn't vote for him. Yeah. Steve Chung, the guy who lied about roughing up an official at Arlington Cemetery for a campaign photo, denied the story, saying Orangina has a special place in his heart for disaster victims, especially since the paper towel tossing Orangina did in Puerto Rico to families devastated by Hurricane Maria went over so well. What we're learning about these shenanigans from Mike Pence's Homeland Security Advisor, Olivia Troy, notably a woman, which is relevant because women have proved to be the ultimate badasses when it comes to calling out the monstrous behavior. Olivia said this was just one of numerous instances where Pervy chose to listen to his inner third-grade sociopath to ultimately punish a blue state that needed federal assistance. But lucky for California, there are pockets of dickish Californians sprinkled throughout the state, and a member of Orangina's administration was able to come up with election data proving Southern California's Orange County was full of MAGA morons, so Orangina decided not to be dickish to the dickish, and he released the funds. No big deal, right, folks? I think it's only logical that if Orangina wins the 2024 election, he's going to come up with some sort of loyalty test that needy Americans will have to pass if their house burns down or washes away. Yeah. It'll probably be a mix of trivia about Orangina's celebrity career, as well as some favors as determined by gender, race, age, and physical attractiveness. No doubt priority would go to the women who can prove they own several pieces of MAGA merch, and the men who would happily turn over their daughters to Orangina's care in exchange for a selfie with their orange savior. Well, folks, I suppose for safety's sake, we should all invest in Make America Great flags, or hats, or beer cozies, and practice all capping our outrage on Twitter, just in case we need to prove we're part of the cult in order to be able to keep our kids from starving if we lose everything. No big deal though, right? I mean, MAGAs would be totally fine if Biden came up with a sort of dance for your dinner rule for disaster survivors in red states. He could assign Nancy Pelosi to be the ultimate decider as to who deserves assistance. MAGAs would be totally fine with that. MAGAs would never be upset if a Dem Speaker of the House pushed off providing more funding for desperate Americans until after the election, so that a Republican president got the blame. No big deal. It's all part of the new normal in America. Well, MAGAs, have the day that you deserve.